Hi, I'm Tim from the Marathon Mates. On this episode of the Flying Runner, we are talking about the Gold Coast Marathon weekend. With just 3 weeks to go until one of Australia's biggest running events, we'll talk about where we're at in our running journeys. We'll share with you everything that you need to know about the expo and all the great things that you will experience over the course of the weekend. It's one of our favourite running events, and we know because we've got the experience and the knowledge, as we're the only podcast with 4 six-star world major marathon medalist co-hosts. This is the Flying Runner podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Welcome to the thrilling world of the Flying Runner, brought to you by the Marathon Mates.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Flying Runner. I'm Tim from the Marathon Mates, and this is episode number 101. Now, I know for those of you who listened last week, we promised you a very special guest. Mickey Willardon was going to join us this week to talk about running and nutrition, but unfortunately, technical problems got in the way, and we were unable to record the episode with Mickey. So we've had to defer her for a couple of weeks, but we promise we'll get her back on and have a chat with her in the near future about running and nutrition. So given the short notice, given that we're coming up to Gold Coast Marathon weekend, we thought that we'd bring forward the episode that we're going to do in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about the expo, the marathon weekend, what you can do, all the sorts of races that are on there. And as we're approaching 3 weeks out, we'll be able to give you where we're at with our training journeys and what we expect to do on the days that we're there at the Gold Coast Marathon. But before we do any of that, let me introduce my co-hosts tonight. We've got Tara, who's sitting to that side of me. We've got Tony and we've got Lucia. Yeah. So, guys, welcome to the show. And more importantly, how's your week's been? I'll start, Tara.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm all really, really good. So I have been slowly getting back into my running. It's taking me a while to get used to this pacemaker and learning that I have to run slow to run fast again. So the age-old adage, can't run before you can walk. I thought that I'd just go back to how I was before the pacemaker. That doesn't work that way. So I'm running to heart rate now. So I did 22.5 Ks on the weekend on Sunday, but it was very, very slow. But it was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. Had no pain, no problems. I just got a set a heart rate monitor alert on my watch and did not go above 160 or 170. I can't remember what I set it to, but it was, yeah. My heart rate runs a lot higher than it used to, so it's hard.
No, it's important, I think, for you, Tara. You're really learning to run all over again and learn a new form of running, which is low heart rate running. So it's good. It's good for you. Slow it down, but I think in the longer term, you'll build up your endurance and your strength as you go with that process. So yeah. And which park run did we do? I've forgotten.
We did Kedron. I'd forgotten to. Kedron. So we did Kedron. I really like Kedron. It's flat and fast if you want to run fast. We just took it easy and cruised along. I think it was about 33 minutes. Saw some friends there, some good marathon mates of ours that we ran with in Berlin as well. So Paula and Andrew were there, which was lovely, and Ruth, one of my other really good friends. Yeah.
And Jasmine as well.
Oh, and cool. Jasmine right. From Berlin. Sorry, Jasmine.
Lucky I know what's going on, Tara. And Tony, how's your week been, mate?
Yeah, it wasn't a bad week for us. I got 27K out on Saturday, so I was pretty happy with that. Just wanted to spend some time on my legs. I was pretty sore in the quads after the Brisbane half, and I just put that down to greater intensity of training. So I just did the old set the Jeffing pacer at 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, and I just took it a little bit easier. Just wanted to spend time on the leg, so it was good. 27K got it out. Really happy. I think Sharon was up around the 25, 26 as well. So she's still going through a fair bit of pain. It feels like every week. I think this podcast, ever since we started this podcast, Sharon's been injured. So, but yeah, so she was happy with where she is at the minute. But yeah, it was a good week. So enjoyed it.
Maybe that might change for Sharon if she came on as a special guest. The whole luck might change.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
And Lucia, how was your week?
Not the best one I had. So the plan was to do 30 on Saturday. So I got to the Opera House and it was about 8-ish, and a few of us stopped for a chat, and I just couldn't be asked. But I did keep going. One of the guys from my run club, God bless him, he stuck with me for a good, I reckon it was about another 8-9 Ks, and he's a lot faster than me. And I said to him, look, I'm going to do my run walk intervals. He goes, I don't care. He goes, I just want to get you through a good chunk of it, and we always have a good chat. So if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have gotten as far as I did. But I stopped at 20 because my back started hurting. And normally when I take, I probably should have taken some painkillers before, and I took some, but I didn't take the ones I would have normally taken if I was going for a longer run. So I didn't, so unfortunately I only got to 20, but I did another 10 yesterday. So I finally decided I should work out my pacing that I'm going to need for Goldie. So I finally worked that out today. We're about 3 and a bit weeks out. So I'm like, maybe I should actually see what I need to do in the half to try and do the quaddie. So it's given me a little panic attack, a little bit. So may have to change the training around a bit just for the next couple of weeks. But other than that, I've pulled up. Well, I think what it also came down to was normally I do my strength class on a Wednesday, but last week I did it on a Thursday. So I was still feeling a bit tight from that. So I don't know if that potentially had something to do with it as well. So I just have to get out of this one, but I'll get it done. We'll be right.
Positive thinking. It'll get you through it.
Exactly.
It always does.
How many weeks are we, Lucia? Just
you really do it, don't you, Tony? We're just over 3 weeks. Yep.
So
when I finally met you in person, I swear we're going to have words.
At least what I liked about you training on the weekend, but was you backed it up. So 20K on the Saturday, 10K on the Sunday, and that's what you've got to do a little bit more with the quaddie, but at least you did the backup. So well done for that.
Yeah, I think I'll be doing backups for most weekends now.
There's only a couple.
You might get like 1-2 training weeks. That's right.
Minor details. Yeah, no, my training for Goldie hasn't been where it should be, but as I said to people, I'll get it done. It won't be pretty, but I'm going to get it done.
Well, Luke, you might be there because I still have all my entries for Gold Coast. So I wasn't willing to sell them off because I wanted to see how I would go. So I'm still playing it by ear. So you might have me to drag along with every single one of these races yet, but we'll just play it by ear as to what what he's doing. So, yep.
Awesome.
And I will be there, but my training's going pretty well at the moment. So I did it, as you know, I did a marathon last weekend at the Brisbane Marathon Festival. I had a pretty good recovery week last week. I didn't do much in the way of running, but I stretched and I ate and did all the right things, and then backed it up with Sunday with a long run with my son, 30 kilometers on the long run. So tired legs a little bit, still recovering from the marathon, but it was good to get out there and push out 30 with Patrick. And he's in a good, happy place at the moment for his first marathon. So he's not going to do it super fast, but he'll get through it and we'll do it together. And if Tara joins us for a bit of it, she does. If she drops away, she drops away. As long as she doesn't drop down or drop out. But yeah, we had a good time there, and the body's healing well from Gold Coast, from Brisbane. Just one other thing. Last week on our 100th episode, we talked about races that we would love to have or organise or be involved with around the world, and I mentioned that I'd love to do a whiskey trail run through the Scottish Highlands, where the Speyside Whiskey Trail is in Scotland. And thanks to our loyal listener and 6-star medalist Martin, he sent through an actual race that is in Scotland on the Whiskey Trail. It's called Scotland's Whiskey Run. It's called the Dramathon, and it's run and held by Glenn Fiddick. I saw the video of it today, Tony. Thank you for sending it through, and from Martin, who sent it ultimately through to our socials. You got me hooked. I'm there. I'm going to have to do the Dramathon at some stage in the next few years. Combination of trail and road, by the looks of it, looks stunning. So definitely one for the bucket list for me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking to do that one maybe after Medoc next year, which is a wine one. Then I'll do Belgian beer lovers, and then I can do the Dramathon. What's your thoughts? Who's doing it with me?
I'll do it.
You won.
Yeah.
The whiskey would be my thing.
Whiskey's not.
No,
it's good.
Yeah. It's a little bit of feedback we got as well, Tim, from the 100th episode. Anne-Marie commented on our Spotify where we host the podcast. Another great podcast. You keep me going on my long, cold run this morning. So that's nice. And she said, my guest with Tim was the Belgian Beer Marathon. So she knows you very well, obviously. And then she also said, thank you for all your tips, advice, and at times laughter. So, Anne-Marie, as long as you're laughing when we mean to be funny and not laughing when we're supposed to be serious, I'm okay with that. So,
have you ever been serious?
I get serious at least twice a day. So, and also Victoria Miles said, great podcast team. Congratulations on the 100 episodes. I always love listening. So always nice to get feedback from our people that tune in to us.
Yeah, 100%. Love the feedback. Keep sending feedback through. We love to see it. But anyway, guys, it's now that time of the week where we talk about the news. Tony, what's been happening around the world this week?
So pardon all the puns that I'm going to read, because Tim originally wrote this news for him prior to the technical difficulties. So he's put all this. We'll see how we go. So first up, drive-through restaurant chain. Converting to a run-through. My God. Guys, this week it was all about Global Run Day. That was Wednesday, I believe, and I don't know about you, but my feed was lit up with all sorts of stories about running. But this one caught my eye, and Lucia, bear in mind Tim wrote this, because Lucia, I reckon you'd be 100% up for this one. So American restaurant chain Smoothie King is making that dream a reality. In celebration of Global Run Day, America's largest smoothie brand is going the extra mile, launching a brand new restaurant concept called the Run Through. It's a window special specifically for runners to jog up and order their post-run smoothie on foot. It was only available on June the 4th. And it was only at one location, and that was in Richardson, Texas. And we all know how famous Richardson, Texas is. Not. However, Smoothie King is also offering a free watermelon hydration smoothie at all US locations on Global Running Day. Luch, thoughts on that?
See, the smoothie one could be a bit hard to drink on the go because I struggle drinking water while I'm running. So God forbid trying to drink a smoothie through a straw while running. But yeah, I've finally mastered the art of eating while I'm running. So I reckon I could eat. So if it was a donut, sign me up for it.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, is there any chains that you would recommend actually thinking about doing a run through?
If I could have my ultimate, it'd be Donut King, a nice hot cinnamon donut coated in sugar. That would be
Okay.
the ultimate.
Aren't all restaurants run through?
Not literally running, but unless you're doing a runner.
What's the difference between running through the counter and running through the window outside?
All right. Second piece of news, and this one's, I think, one that caught my eye over the weekend anyway, because my wife's a mad Rod Stewart fan. So, and it was Sharon's birthday on Sunday. So, yeah, Rod Stewart is aiming to be the fastest man in the world. Unbelievable, but true. He's accomplished a great deal, of course, in his music career, but now he's taking on something even bigger. The men's 80. It's hard to believe he's 80-year-old, but then again, I guess we're getting older too. The men's 80 plus 100-meter world record. So Stewart is a major fitness enthusiast and even has a private track at his Los Angeles mansion. In an interview with a magazine, Stewart recently revealed he's been running 100-meter sprints to stay in shape and feed his competitive appetite. He's got his time down to 19 seconds. That's pretty impressive, I think, for an 80-plus-year-old, and he's going to try and get it down to 17 seconds. So pretty impressive considering his age. His average speed is about 18. I'm glad you did the sums, Tim. 18.7 kilometers an hour. But he's still got a little bit of work if he wants to beat the world record, which I believe is 14.2 and held by American sprinter Kenton Brown. A more attainable target would be the British record, Rod, which is 15.16 seconds, held by Tony Bowman. And it's about, if you put it into perspective, it's about 5 kilometers per hour faster than what Stewart is currently running. So, viewers, I do apologize for what is about to come, right? So, guys, this is pretty inspirational, but I do have to ask, do you think he's sexy running 100 meters, or is he better being at home cuddling up to Maggie May?
Girls?
And this is why Tim passed the news off to you, Tony.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
At least it wasn't Tom Jones. Imagine the puns it would have been if it was Tom Jones.
Yeah. At least he's not sailing. All right. Last piece of news. This is a doozy. Jen Kellett. She was on our podcast episode 33. She's done an amazing job at Comrades this year. Comrades was the downhill, which I believe is harder than the uphill. So running the 90 kilometers downhill, and does my head in. 9 hours and 29 minutes and 14 seconds. Now, we do believe that this has had beaten the previous age group record by at least an hour. So that's incredible. So she just continues to blow minds and she's you'll soon find out about her age, because she was the fastest 70-plus athlete on the day, beating the male winner by about 13 minutes. She was the second fastest woman older than 60 years. She would have been in the top 40 women greater than 50 years of age. Rod may be inspirational, but I tell you what, Jen Kellett certainly is. She, well done, Jen, just legendary status in my eyes. That was so pleasing to see, Tim.
Yeah. I followed it when I got up this morning and had a look at the results. I was very pleased. I know she's put a lot of work into that. She's targeted that race from 12 months ago when she did the uphill version of it 12 months ago and came second in her age category. Then she was 69 and she came second in the 60 to 69 year age group to a lady who had only just turned 60. And to then go into the 70-year age bracket and win that is awesome. But I also know that she has her sights set on beating Jeannie Rice's records for 70 to 75-year women in all the world marathon majors over the next couple of years. So if anyone can do it, I reckon she can do it. She's a legend.
Amazing.
Absolutely. She certainly is. And Tim, that is the news.
Excellent. Thanks. And there was no hard names for you this week either, Tony, so even better. Now it's that time where we're going to reflect on the Gold Coast weekend. The Gold Coast Marathon weekend will be on the 5th and 6th of July, and it actually starts on the Thursday beforehand, which would be the 3rd of July is when it starts. So for those of you who aren't aware, the Gold Coast Marathon weekend is probably the second, maybe the third largest marathon event in Australia, behind Sydney and possibly with Melbourne. It's held at an ideal time. It's held in the Brisbane in the Queensland winter, which for those living in the Northern Hemisphere, it's quite a cool but warm winter period. And it's also held during the school holiday period. So it makes for an exciting event. You can come here, have a long weekend or an extended holiday here on the Gold Coast, bring the kids and have a holiday with running involved. And trust me, a lot of people do that over the course of the weekend. As I said, it starts with the expo when it opens on the Thursday afternoon, and it culminates in the marathon event, which this time round is run as a standalone event on the Sunday for the very first time. Normally they host other races on the Sunday, but this year they are doing the marathon as solely as a standalone. So, guys, I'm going to ask the questions to you guys tonight, and I'm going to ask the first one. So the first one is for all of you guys, and I'll start with you, Tara. What makes this weekend so special to you? I know you've been doing it with me for probably 12 years now, 11, 12 years. What makes it so special?
It has been a while that we've been doing it. Look, we have the same unit every single year that we book in. As soon as we get there, we rebook the same unit. So to us, it's a family holiday where the kids have always come down to because they were young at the time. Now it's actually something that they're adults and they want to come to. So it's really nice to spend that time as a family. But to me, what makes the Gold Coast Marathon weekend special as well is we get to catch up with a lot of people that we only get to see, like Lucia, like unless she's away in a major or something like that. But people that come up from come around from all over Australia and New Zealand and all over the world, really. And we get to catch up with them for the weekend. We get to have it's sort of like going to a major, but not a major. It's got that vibe, that feel. Go to the expo. Everyone that's on the Gold Coast is really there just for running that weekend. So it's really like a major feel to it. That's what makes it special to me.
Yep, I agree. And Tony?
Yeah, I think for me, it's obviously we haven't been doing it as long as you have, but to me, it's been a bit of a graduated thing. We started off doing the 10. We did it may even have been our very first half marathon at the Gold Coast. If it wasn't our first, it was very close to our first. And I guess last year was the first time I did the marathon. I think Gold Coast has just got vibes about it. It's just the expo's always got a bit of atmosphere. There's the Broadwater where all the start village has always just got people. There's a bit of a vibe. The crowd's really good in places. But yeah, it's probably the closest thing we felt to I won't say a world major, but a decent sized marathon. that got us hooked into the running process.
Yeah, I agree. There's a vibe there, isn't there? Very much so. And Lucia, what makes it special for you?
I think you guys have
Sorry,
been.
firstly, how many Gold Coasts have you been to? You've been to a couple now, haven't you?
This will be my third.
Okay,
So
so you've got a good feel on it.
Yeah, it was meant to do during COVID, but then I remember at that point New South Wales we got kicked out of pretty much every state. So this will be my third Goldie weekend. It's just such an awesome weekend. The vibe is it's just like it's a place where everyone is so happy to be at. Like it doesn't matter what race you're doing, and the way it's organised as well. I think it's one of the best one of the best race weekends organised, because in terms of the expo, the transport, it cracks me up on the Saturday and Sunday, because normally I stay in Surfers and then I get the tram out to the race precinct. You can smell the danker rub at like 4:30 in the morning on the tram. Everyone complaining, oh, I can't believe how full it is. So it just cracks me up every year that people are surprised, oh, why is it so full? I'm like, I wonder why. But it's also a great opportunity to catch up with you guys, because I always see you guys there, and it's just everyone is so supportive. It's just a fun weekend, and it's a good expo too.
Yep, agree. I think for me, what makes it special is that it is truly a weekend of running events. Now, Sydney probably had a little bit of that in the past when it was Blackmores, but back then it wasn't probably as big as Gold Coast. But Melbourne is a standalone day where they do their racing, and it's the half marathon and the marathon all at the same time, 10 and 5. Whereas this is a true weekend. On the Saturday, you have running races, and then on Sunday, you have running races. So around that Broadwater precinct that you're talking about, Tony, there's just this vibe, probably from Friday afternoon when the tents start going up for all the running clubs, right through Saturday, right through Sunday, with lots of people all congregating into this area. And we're not talking amateur level racing. We're getting elites. We're getting the likes of Sarah D'Amanto and international runners, Cameron Avery's and other runners that are coming from around the world, Japanese runners that come here en masse to target this event. So you're seeing quite elite runners competing over the course of the weekend in different categories, from 5 and half, 5, 10 and half marathons right through to the marathon. And I think that's what makes it special for me. And the other thing that makes it really special for me is that over the last few years, the last 3 or 4 years, they've introduced this concept of the GC double, which I think is a fantastic concept. It's running a half marathon on the Saturday and then running the marathon on the Sunday. And it just adds an extra little twist to the weekend, I think, and a little bit of extra excitement and nervousness amongst people who are doing it and having a crack at the challenge. And again, it's fairly unique. There aren't any other major events in Australia that would do a challenge like that. Obviously, there are some like the Pentath at Warwick and a few others, but not one that involves a half marathon and a marathon distance that aren't ultra races over multiple days. So to me, that's the excitement of it all. We've talked a little bit about the precinct. Yes, it's based in Broadbeach, on the Broadwater, just north of Surfers Paradise in Southport. But where do you guys all stay? I'll start with you this time, Lucia. You mentioned Surfers. Is that generally where you stay?
It's generally where I stay, because I find for me it's kind of in the middle of everything, because it's easy access to, let's say, the expo for me, and because I'm traveling on my own as well, it's easy for me to get around everywhere. And it's just a good place for me, because if I just want to go down and sit on the beach, for me it's easy, and I know where things are, because I'm kind of like a creature of comfort, as they say. Like, I don't mind trying new hotels in the area, but I'll generally stay in the same area.
Yeah. And Tony, you normally in the past you've driven down on the race days, haven't you?
We've had a combination. We've probably 50-50. We've stayed down in the race precinct. Normally, we would stay. I've forgotten the name of the place, but anyway, it's right on the Broadwater. This year, we're staying down again a little bit further back from the Broadwater. And other years we've driven down, so it's always nice to take the punt and just spend the time down there. So it's a little bit easier to get up, and you've got the comfort of your own, or at least the hotel room toilet, as opposed to potentially stopping at Macca's on the way down or something. So yeah, it's but we've always, when we have stayed, we've stayed near the race precinct.
Yep. And Tara, we're the same, aren't we? We stay in close to that race precinct.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we always get the same. We book the same apartment every year, and yeah, it's like 1 kilometre, 2 kilometre, not even, maybe a kilometre.
1 kilometre. 1 kilometre
1
walk.
kilometre to the actual start line, which is our nice little warm up. The whole building is always filled up with friends and people that we know because everyone seems to rebook the same units. And the kids are very comfortable there. They know exactly where to go and where the closest McDonald's is for them to go and get some food. And it also, they can come out and see us at about obviously a K to go, and also at about the 32K mark on the marathon. They can just pop over and give me a banana without having to watch the whole marathon. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we're in a unique spot where all of the races all run past us. So, and on both sides of our building, one up the Gold Coast Highway, one down the other side. So it's a good little spot where we stay. And I guess the Gold Coast is one of those places, for those who aren't familiar, there's a range of accommodation. You can have absolute 5-star, top-end, high-end accommodation, or you can go right down to camping. And in fact, within probably 600 metres of the start line, there's actually a campsite for camping, and it's stunning views over the Broadwater there. And I know some of our friends stay there as well. K Mass, who's been on the show before, has stayed there. So it is a good area around the Gold Coast there. So, guys, we are 3 weeks out from marathon weekend, or will be by the time this goes to air. So we've talked a little bit about our long runs, but where are we at in realistic terms with our training? Do we think we're on top and ready to go, or we've still got quite a bit of effort and work to go? I might kick it over to you, Tony.
I wish we were I'm probably 2 weeks shy of where I really wanted to be. So I set a goal at the beginning of the year, and that goal has now sort of disappeared. I've got another goal for race day, but we'll see how we go. I'm not where I need to be. This week I'm going to get maybe 30, 32 out on the legs, and then I'll probably do one more longer run and then taper in over a fortnight, I guess. But yeah, I'm not where I want to be, but I know that I'll get it done. And unlike you lunatics that are doing all 4 races, I'm only doing the 5 on the Saturday. Geez, I'll be fresh for that, Lucia. I might just
flying past us.
Yeah, I might just stroll that, because all my energy's on the big day on Sunday, on the big race. But yeah, I wish I had a couple more weeks. It just hasn't been the training block that I wanted. But sometimes that happens. You just got to deal with what's thrown your way and make the best of it. So
that's it, 100%. The muscle memory will be there, and that's what I found last weekend with Brisbane Marathon. The muscle memory's there. It's just the fitness may not be, and over the last little bit it gets you. But use it as a training run for Sydney, I think, Tony, and that's probably the best strategy. Just work on it that way. Tara, what about you? You talked a little bit about your heart and your pacemaker and seeing how you go. You want to talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, so obviously with this pacemaker, I've got to just play it by ear. So as I said, I've still got entries to all 4 races. I will just wait and see how it goes. I am training to the best of my ability as if I was doing all 4 of them. But I'm not going to be stupid and push something that I can't push. So if I don't feel it, I won't. I guess in all honesty, I have been out of fitness for probably since the start of the year is when my heart has started going downwards again since my last heart operation. So, and then I've lost 4 weeks completely of running. So I really am building from base almost to restart again and relearning to run to a new heart rhythm and heartbeat type thing. So Yeah, definitely not where I would like to be for what's coming up. But I do have that muscle memory. So even on my long runs, I'm not feeling sore afterwards. My body can do it. I've got all that physical strength there. It's just getting my heart rate down low enough to make sure I can complete it without doing damage to myself.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Lucia?
Similar to Tony, I'm not where I should be. I don't have any excuses. Yes, I've been sick a couple of times, but nothing like you, Tara, or Tim. So my strategy is just going to be to focus on the half because I want to get a good half time in just to give myself a bit more of a break just before the 10K. So once I get the half done, I'll be fine. Ironically, I'm not worried about the marathon. As weird as that sounds, because as we've said, we all have the muscle memory. Body knows how to do it, but it's the half that's really concerning me, which sounds strange. So, but yeah, I'm going to give it a good crack. As I said earlier, it won't be pretty, but I'm going to get it done. So if you see someone just cursing themselves on course, that will be me, listeners, thinking, why did I do it? But will I do it again next year? I think we all know the answer to that one.
Yep. Yep. And I won't even say where I'm at. Everyone knows that I'm in a good place at the moment, so I'll get it done, no problems. Now let's talk about race expos. This is one of the best race expos in Australia, if not the very best. I haven't been to Sydney yet. I'll find out in Sydney whether it's better than Brisbane, better than Gold Coast. But I can tell you, it is one of the best I've been to. So, guys, what do you look forward to most at the Gold Coast Race Expo, which, as I said earlier, opens on the Thursday afternoon?
No, actually, I think it's Thursday morning, Tim.
Is it Thursday morning? No, I thought it was Thursday afternoon.
Normally, because I think the year in which I saw you guys at the expo, it was Thursday afternoon, but I hope I'm not wrong. But I think this year it's Thursday morning. I'm just going to have a look.
Okay.
So I think Tony's picking that one up too.
Gold Coast, so Sydney improved a lot, the expo last year, but I still think Goldie does it that little bit better. So you walk in and you get your bibs, everyone's happy to be there, and then you go through to the R6 merch area, which they released some more of the stuff today, which does look nice. And then they've got all the different vendors, and I always stop and have a chat with the guys at Travelling Fit, Marimar and Michael. It's always a good laugh. It's because everyone's so happy to be there. It doesn't matter if you're, let's say, like a sub 3 hour marathoner, or if not like me, a 6 hour marathon. Everyone's just so happy because everyone's so looking forward to the weekend. So I'm just looking forward to another expo and buying what I don't need.
Yep. 10 a.m. So Thursday it opens at 10 a.m., closes at 7 p.m. Friday 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the expo. So you're right, it is an earlier start this year than other years. Yeah, Tara, what do you look forward to each year at the expo?
Yeah, pretty much the same as Lucia. Like, it doesn't matter what time of the day or night or whatever time you go. There's always people you know there, so you always stop and have a chat. But what should normally take around about an hour to get through always takes us about 3 to 3.5 because we're stopping and talking to everybody. It's got some great freebies that are actually decent freebies. They have some really good specials at the GC Expo as well, like really good discounts on things that you can't really get those discounts on usually. And you can actually see some new innovative type things that are designed by Australian runners for Australian climates. So to me, it's really quite good. So yeah.
Yep. And Tony?
Yeah, and for me, it's just the buzz. You get the sense that you're in something special at the Gold Coast Expo, and it's always good to catch up with the team from Travelling Fit. But yeah, it's just the buzz. And I remember talking with the Marimar and Michael there at Travelling Fit last year, and just in that time that we were talking to them, there were people coming that were doing New York. There were people coming up and having a chat that were doing Chicago. And there's just a buzz that you cannot describe. So, yeah, the expo's good. The exhibitors are good. And it's just you get the sense you're in a race day weekend.
I'm going to pose
And
a question. I'm going to pose a question to you all. How many people are we going to see wearing Boston jackets?
well, I wasn't wearing
June,
mine. Yeah.
Because it's generally a good sign of an expo. You always see people wearing Boston jackets.
I'll wear mine just for you, Luch.
Oh, God love you.
And to be honest, I can't recall ever seeing a Boston jacket at Gold Coast. And you know, for the one thing from my perspective, I've never gone to the Gold Coast Marathon Expo to buy Gold Coast Marathon gear. And whether it be the jacket or the T-shirt, you get a T-shirt for running the race when you finish anyway. But yeah, it's good merch, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't, it's not, to me, I buy a jacket every world major I run. I'll never wear them again, but I've got them. So, but just for you, Luch, I'm going to wear my Boston one at Gold Coast.
Yes, and you beat me to it, Tony. I was going to say to the ladies, please do not buy any T-shirts at the expo. You're going to get 4 T-shirts after you cross the finish line 4 times. So no need to buy.
I have enough merchandise from Gold Coast, so I do not need any more. But one of the other exhibitors that will be at the expo this year and is new to the expo this year is going to be Travis Island from Run Down Under or Run the World. So keep an eye out for Trav because he would love to say hello to all of our Run the World or Run Down Under members.
Yep, and he's been on our podcast previously as well. So
I can't remember what episode though.
All right, so we've done the expo, we've got ourselves in our accommodation, we've done the training, and now we get to race day on the Saturday. I'm going to give you a brief description of the courses here. They're all largely the same on the Saturday, apart from the 10K. So half marathon is the first race that kicks off at 6 a.m. Then at about 9 o'clock or so is the 10K race. Then at about 11 o'clock is the 5K race, and then there's a kids 2K dash as well. So the half marathon, the 5K, and the 2K race, they all start at Southport and head north, and basically all follow each other's course but turn around at certain points where they need to turn around. For the half marathon, you run north all the way up. It's pretty much an out and back course on a straight road up. There is a little dog leg at about 6 Ks, 7 Ks. Yep, you go into it at 6 and you come out of it at 7. But you keep running up to the turnaround at 10.6 kilometres or thereabouts, and then you turn around and come back. And all finish lines of the Gold Coast are all at Southport on the eastern side of the Olympic swimming pool that they've got there. So, yeah, really, really good race day. Lots of runs on that day. As I said, quite elite fields. The 10K run is slightly different. It heads off to the south. Or typically heads off down to the south, turns around over the bridge that takes you down towards SeaWorld. You turn around just after that, and then you run north and cover most of the north course again before turning around and coming back again. So doesn't make sense if I'm telling you as I'm listening to it, but what I can tell you is all courses are very flat. They're very fast. It's all good pavement that you're running on, nice wide roads. And generally very well organised. Drink stations every couple of kilometres along there with water and fixed nutrition as well. So, there's nothing too special. Lots of toilets. The race precinct is in the parklands there on the Broadwater. It's really well set up parklands area. It's good. Lots of space. There's bits of grass there where you can sit down on, you can stretch. There's generally a lot of portaloos, but they can get crowded in that sort of half hour, 45 minutes before a race. And then they do a pretty good bag drop there as well. So how's that for a quick summary, guys? Have I forgotten anything?
Pretty much summed it up.
Cool. All right. So on Saturday, as I said, there's 3 races that Tara, myself, and Lucia are doing. That's the half, the 10, and the 5. And Tony's doing the 5. So, Lucia, you've talked a little bit about your strategy. So I won't go to you first, but I might talk to Tony first. What's your strategy for the 5K? You sort of mentioned it before, but
yeah, I'm going to show up at 11:45. I mean, my God, how late's that for a run? And very, very fresh. And I'll be looking around to see Lucia and cheering her on. And of course, Tim and if Tara's there, of course, absolutely. But yeah, my strategy and Sharon's strategy will be just to stretch the legs out and get a bit of a dawdle happening, I guess. So I've got no aspirations of running the whole way or getting a time. I just want to make sure that I'm relatively loose and warm for the big day the next day. So
that's it. And Tara, what's your strategy? I know you sort of mentioned it before. It's to get through the half, I guess, and then see how you feel for the other 2.
Yep, and if I can get through them all, it will be finish lines, not finish times. So I don't care if I'm the last person across for every single race. If that's what it takes for me to finish them, that's what I'll do. However, I really don't want to be on my legs that long if I want to do the marathon the next day. So, yeah, just fingers crossed I can finish. I don't really have a plan. Sorry. Not much help.
That's all right. That's all right. And Lucia?
Like as I've said previously, my focus is just to get a good time in the half, not a PB, but I just want to give myself a bit of a break. So I've got a friend's husband he's running the marathon on the Sunday, but he's going to be my bag person on the Saturday, and he's going to be at the finish line for me Saturday. So therefore, it's a quick change of top and then head straight to the 10K. Bless him.
Yeah, no, that's a good strategy to have, especially if you're pressed for time. For us, Tara, I think largely we'll get through the half, and then it will be a run walk in the 10, and then probably just a walk in the 5 just to get through it and shake the legs out as part of our recovery, I think, before we do the marathon the next day. The 5 has a very generous cutoff time. You can walk the 5Ks and still make the cutoff. And the 10, I think you can largely almost walk that and still make the cutoff as well. So, yeah, it is important when you're doing multiple races, especially with a marathon on the next day, that you always have one eye on that recovery and that removal of the lactic acid and the gunk out of your legs, which is where the walking does help somewhat. So that's Saturday. Then I guess we go into that recovery mode, as I just mentioned. I know for us, Tara, we normally just jump in the hot tub, we stretch out, we try to do as minimum amount of walking or running after we've done the races, but it's more about just loosening up the muscles, getting the gunk out and resting as much as possible, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, as you said, we do jump in that. We've got a hot tub and a swimming pool that's heated. So I think the pool's heated to about 27 degrees and the hot tub's up to about 35 or something. So we'll do alternate hot and cold therapy after the half marathon or after the Saturday races, which is what we always do. And we then seem to pull up pretty well for the Sunday, but we do a lot of stretching and we eat very, very well. There's a lot of protein that goes back into our bodies and a lot of electrolytes and hydration straight after those races as well. So, yep, protein, refueling, and recovery for us.
Yep, and I'm sure that's pretty much the same for you, Lucia?
Yeah, pretty much the same. The hotel that I'm at, I know it has a pool. I don't know if it has like a hot tub or a sauna. I should check that out. But I'm also going to be bringing my mini massage gun as well and using that. And I also bought, before Boston last year, my own tins, my own tins thingy, contraption.
Tens machine.
That's the one. So I'll bring that as well. I should check that the batteries are still okay and get that going on the legs a bit on the Saturday just to kind of get the blood flowing and that type of stuff. But yeah, it'll be a very easy Saturday. We've got a run club dinner on the Saturday night, but it's an early one, thank God, so which is good.
Yeah. All righty. And I won't even bother, Tony. I guess your 5K is just a shuffle.
Yeah, I think I'll just probably walk to the unit and not do too much for the rest of the day. So yeah,
Watch
Stop at
footy
the
on
pub for a beer on the way back.
yeah, possibly. Who knows? But yeah, it seems so much less than what you guys are getting yourselves in for. So you guys are doing like 30, almost 37 kilometers one day, and then the marathon the next, and I'm doing 5.
You're smart.
Yeah, I'm the only smart one, so of the 4.
Yep. Now I'm mindful of time, guys. So just looking towards Sunday, it's Sunday race day. This race is a big race. It starts off usually with Rob De Castella, Australia's former world marathon champion and world record holder. He has a usual speech that he says, and it usually G's up the crowd and gets all the runners excited. And before you know it, you're heading off. You're heading south. You do a dog leg over the bridge. You turn left up towards SeaWorld now. You do a turnaround out the front of SeaWorld Resort. And then it's a coast run down the beach for a couple of kilometres before you dog leg back out to the Gold Coast Highway. And then back in again as you head down towards Miami, down the southern end of the Gold Coast or the middle part of the Gold Coast. At that point, you turn around, you head back more or less the same way you ran, and you come back to the start-finish area at about 30, 31 kilometres. And at that point, you then head north on the half marathon course for the next 5-6 Ks and turn around at the top of the course at around 36.5 kilometres before then heading south on the half marathon finish or the last 5 Ks, 6 Ks of the half marathon road, finishing in the Broadwater Parklands, as we said. So you do have an opportunity to see the lead runners on the course a few times, and you do have an opportunity to see other runners as you pass past them a couple of times on the course. So from that perspective, it's really good. The whole course is generally flat. There is one hill that everyone remembers, which is at about that 30 to 31 Ks at Southport as you come up over the top of the start line. It's not a big hill in normal running terms, but when you're at 30 Ks, it seems like a mountain. But you do get over it, and then that's it. It's flat, flat, flat all the way. It is one of the fastest courses in Australia for the marathon. It is dead straight, and is also one of the most scenic courses because you do run along the beaches there. Quickly, guys, do you have some memories of the course from past years? I might start with you, Tara.
I enjoy it. The best part is the finishing sheet. I don't mean that to sound bad, but it's just, yeah, I like the start line. I like the finish line. Yep.
Tony.
I actually enjoyed the course. I mean, there are some parts that are really quite boring. I hate that part where you've done your 32 and you're coming past the start area again, and you know you've got 10 to go and you're starting to hurt a little bit. But, my memories are, and they'll be mentally engaged with me again this year, is last year at the 12, just before the 12, I tore my calf. Then I retore it or aggravated it or tore it some more at the 19K mark. So I'm just hoping that I don't relive those memories. But yeah, I enjoy the course. I don't like that last 10 at all because it's probably a bit dull and boring, but I love running down the beach. And even the SeaWorld leg is just, it's good. You got people everywhere. You're feeling the vibe. You're running it. It's good. So positive memories, except for those 2 areas.
And Lucia?
I think for me, it's the last couple of 100 meters when you're running towards the finish area, and you're seeing all the run, and you see it's on the left-hand side, all of the run club tents, everyone just shouting, and then if you've got your name on your bib, people calling your name, it just gives you that little extra oomph. And then when you take that left turn into the finish area and seeing the blue carpet, because when you see that blue carpet, you're like, okay, I've just got to get past that and I'm done. I love that last about K or so.
see, Lucia's like me. She likes the finish line like me.
Can I just say the other bad area is about 10 meters before the finish line where I tore my calf the second year I ran it. Why am I running Gold Coast? There's an omen here, isn't there? Just don't tear your calf. So all good.
Yeah, I got to say it is probably one of the best finishing last kilometres or so of any marathon in Australia, at least. It is 1 kilometre with crowds of running enthusiasts. They're running club members that just line the course down the left-hand side, as you said, Lucia. They're yelling, they're screaming. They're there till the last runner comes home. And it's just an awesome feeling doing that last kilometre. I love it. So quickly, I guess, what is your strategy? I think you've said it already, but what would be your strategy on the day? Is it just to hang on and get to the finish, or you're looking to go and get through halfway at a certain time or anything like that, guys?
Just getting it done.
Yeah, I'll set some milestones. And this weekend, my run, I want to do the half in a quicker time than what I did Brisbane. I want to try and do my first 21 on the weekend at about 2:30, and then I just want to structure the rest of the run as time on legs. So on Gold Coast for me, I really want to be 30 kilometers well before the 4K, the 4 hour mark. So that's the only milestone that I have. I ran 5:29 last year, which was my best ever time. I'd like to think I can beat that and possibly go as high as 5:15. Last year I was going for a sub 5, as we know. It didn't happen. But I think this year, even though I haven't had the world's best training session, I'd still like to think that I can set myself some benchmarks and really tough this one out.
Yeah. And Tara?
Just finish. If I get to the start line, if I can get to the finish line, I'll be even happier. I would love to run with you and Patrick. However, I know that you guys are running at about a 5 to 5:15 hour marathon pace at the moment, so I will not be keeping up with you, even if I am running it, just because I do not want to push it and put myself into that position. So just finish. I don't care if it's 6 hours 40. I'm there.
And if you're running your first Gold Coast, and you're not sure, and you know you're a slower runner, one of the strategies I use, and I know Tara and we've used it a couple of times, is if you try to do the first half marathon in about 2 hours 30, even if it's 2 hours 40, around about that mark, it then sets you up. Gold Coast is a great course. It gives you 6 hours and 20 minutes as a cutoff, which means if you get to 2 hours 30 for the first half marathon, you can pretty much walk the remaining 21 Ks in the 4 hours that's remaining to still make the cutoff. So if you're a little bit uncertain whether you're going to get the distance, whether you're going to be tired, whether it's because it's the first time you're doing the 63.3 Gold Coast double, just focus on that first half and don't worry so much about the second half, and walk it, and you should still be fine. And that's probably the only milestone I have, and it's one that Patrick and I talk about regularly when we're running, is let's just aim for a consistent first half, get 21 done in 2 hours 30 or thereabouts, and then we're fine from there. We know we're going to make it, tick, then we can let that relax out of our minds, and we can then just focus on doing what we need to do to get the end.
Yeah, and the cutoff at Gold Coast is 7 hours from the first wave and 6 hours 40 from the start of the last wave. So
I thought it was 6 hours 40.
Yeah,
6:40. That's what my planning was.
Sorry, 6:40, not 6:20. I said the wrong time. Sorry about that.
And also a friend of the podcast, Peter Hillman, she's actually one of the 6 hour 40 paces. So really, if anyone gets to Peter, she will get you over the finish line, because I've already said to her, I'm glad you're there, because I'll probably be doing a good chunk with her, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Peter does get you over the line, so she's great. Yep.
So just quickly on the medals and Bling, this week they've released the medals and what they look like. They look fabulous as they do. Every race, every participant will get a medal and a T-shirt, as I said, for whether you're running a 2K race or the marathon. You'll all get a T-shirt.
No, the 2K gets a hat.
Oh, they get a hat, do they? You sure? Okay.
They used
Whatever they
to.
get, they get. But
Yep.
in addition to that, last year for the marathon, all marathon participants also received a really good ASICS marathon hat. And then if you do the 63, not only do you get the additional medal, but last year we also got a beach towel for doing it as well. So really good bling that's there. And yeah, so that's the weekend itself. I guess afterwards there's some celebration events. I know we do one as Team Ellis Running. So if anyone out there is looking to do a celebration event or wanting to do a celebration, look up for our socials on Facebook, and you'll see an invite in there for Gold Coast Celebration. And we're happy to have anyone come along who's friends of the Flying Runner, I guess. But yeah, most guys stick around. They'll have a holiday, they'll celebrate, and then party on. So, guys, that's a wrap on the Gold Coast, and we can't wait to see you all down there. And we'll try and meet up ourselves at some stage and do some lives from the Gold Coast, and show you what it looks like when we're down there. But Lucia, it's that time of the week where we normally get a tip. Normally I do them, but because I'm hosting, I'm handing it over to you. What's the tip this week?
It's one that I've done a few times, but I'm just expanding on it. So this week's tip of the week is again listening to your body and just expanding on that a little bit. So understanding the difference between soreness and pain, because sometimes people can get a little bit confused with that. So soreness is normally after a tough workout if you're feeling stiff or a mild discomfort, and sometimes it can generally last and happen 24 to 48 hours after a tough workout. And a good piece of advice, if you're feeling a bit stiff or sore, just rest or don't do such an intense workout on your next one. And the pain is more when it's sharp or persistent, or if not, if it's worsening during or after a run. So if that ever happens, stop and have it checked out. Don't keep pushing through that. Something in which I experienced a while ago is keeping an eye on the energy levels and also fatigue, because if you're constantly tired or moody, which if anyone knows me, my sister will vouch I can be a moody person on a good day. It could be that you're overtraining as well. So keep that in mind. And also, if you're feeling constantly drained, cut back on the intensity and also take a few days out, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And be flexible with your plan. It's okay to adjust it as you go. Like I did on the weekend, I was meant to do 30, back was hurting, so I just cut it down to 20, or even just having a few days off. But the last bit that I want to leave, the last pearls of wisdom I want to leave our listeners with is listening to your body, knowing that doing less today may help you do more tomorrow.
Very good tip, Lucia. Very good. Very good tip. And I was waiting for that listen to your body, and it came through there. So I don't know how many times we've said that over the years we've been doing this, but definitely 100% listen to your body. So this episode's about to end, but before we do that, Tara, what is on next week's show?
Excellent. So thanks, Tim. After the feedback we received from episode 87 about women's running, and knowing we left so much out on that episode due to time constraints, next week we're going to take over from Tony and Tim and chat about the things that women need to know about running again. So we will talk about the issues that women face when running and share our knowledge and experience to help you overcome these concerns. We love this great sport of running, and we know that many women can struggle when it comes to running. So if you have any questions that you would like answered, then please send them through to us, and we will try our best to answer them as best as we can. As usual, it will be another episode not to be missed.
Thanks, Tara. And that's a wrap for our show this week. Guys, on that note, I've had a really good time tonight reminiscing about Gold Coast and getting excited a little bit about what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Just got to get through a couple more long runs, and then we'll be there at Gold Coast. And hopefully we'll be able to see some of our listeners either in person or out on the running track or a race course as we go. So thanks, guys, for joining me tonight. We love making this podcast for you, our listeners. Let us know what you think. Message us on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at happyrunning flyingrunner.com. We'd love to hear about your plans for Gold Coast and what you plan on doing there. You can watch this episode on Spotify and YouTube, or listen on Apple, Amazon, and all other major platforms. Every step counts. Keep running, and we'll see you the next time on the Flying Runner podcast. Until then, happy running.
Happy
Happy
running.
running.